Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Rhonda Farrell bringing you Spotlight on what's next 2026, week 22. Today, we talk about from institutional legacy to adaptive dominance, winning through continuous reinvention. Week 22 addresses the next defining leadership question. Once legacy exists, how do organizations avoid becoming trapped by their own success? Because in 2026, stability is no longer enough. Influence is no longer enough. Legacy is no longer enough. Organizations must continuously reinvent while preserving what matters most. The emerging leadership reality is that the winners are adapting faster than change is happening. Across government, healthcare, defense, manufacturing, entrepreneurship, education, cybersecurity, and technology, a common pattern is emerging. Organizations are facing AI-driven disruption, workforce transformation, economic uncertainty, talent shortages, shifting customer expectations, regulatory evolution, ecosystem convergence, and continuous technological acceleration. The challenge is no longer whether change will occur. The challenge is whether organizations can evolve faster than the environment is changing around them. Historically, organizations have sought stability, predictability, efficiency, and control. But today, leaders must add something new to their toolkit, and that's adaptability at scale. So, the pattern that leaders must recognize now is that many organizations can successfully build processes, governance, standards, infrastructure, best practices, and institutional memory. But over time, those same strengths can become constraints. Success often creates bureaucracy, organizational inertia, resistance to change, decision latency, risk aversion, and legacy thinking. The very systems that once enabled growth can eventually limit it. The question is no longer what made us successful. The question is what must we become next? So the next leadership shift is that high performing leaders in 2026 are making a critical transformation from preserving success to continuously reinventing success. They understand that long term advantage comes from balancing two seemingly opposite forces, stability and adaptability. The future belongs to organizations that can do both simultaneously. What adaptive dominance actually looks like. Well, adaptive dominance is not constant change. It is not chaos. It is not chasing every new trend. But adaptive dominance is the ability to preserve purpose while evolving methods, maintain trust while embracing innovation, protecting values while expanding capabilities, learning faster than their competitors, responding without overreacting, and reinventing without losing core identity. Adaptive organizations continuously evolve while remaining recognizable. So there are 4 adaptive dominance moves for week 22. First, build continuous learning systems because the fastest learning organizations increasingly outperform the largest organizations. Leaders should create systems that capture lessons learned, customer insights, workforce feedback, emerging risks, and innovative opportunities because learning velocity is becoming competitive velocity. Number 2, reduce decision latency. In an AI accelerated world, delays become expensive. Leaders should examine approval chains, governance structures, escalation paths, information flow, and decision ownership because speed without discipline creates risk, but discipline without speed creates irrelevance. Number 3, create innovation capacity. Many organizations want innovation, but few create space for it. High-performing organizations intentionally reserve capacity for experimentation, pilot programs, innovation challenges, future scenario planning, and workforce creativity, because innovation requires protected space to grow. Number 4, reinvent before you are forced to. The strongest organizations increasingly disrupt themselves before competitors do. They ask what business model assumptions no longer hold, what customer expectations are changing, which capabilities will matter most in 5 years, and most of all, what should we stop doing and soon? Because proactive reinvention is less expensive than reactive recovery. So why does this matter so much now? Because around the world, major shifts are accelerating. Generative AI adoption, sovereign AI initiatives, digital twins, advanced robotics, workforce redesign, critical infrastructure modernization, AI governance frameworks, new cybersecurity realities. And organizations that adapt continuously will attract stronger talent, increase resilience, accelerate innovation, improve customer trust, and create sustainable growth. But organizations that fail to adapt may lose relevance, increase complexity, experience talent flight, struggle with transformation fatigue, become trapped by yesterday's success. And the differentiator will not simply be capability. The differentiator will be adaptive capability. So our week 22 reflection is this. Take a moment this week to consider what assumptions are we still operating under that may no longer be true? Where are we protecting legacy instead of enabling evolution? What decisions take too long? What learning are we failing to capture? What must we become to remain relevant 5 years from now? Because these are not change management questions. They are adaptive leadership signals. So our week 22 action is to choose one important area of your organization and ask, what should we continue? What should we improve? What should we stop? And what should we start? So identify one action that strengthens adaptability without weakening stability, and take that action this week, because legacy creates continuity, but adaptability creates longevity. So our closing thoughts for this week are: trust creates confidence, trajectory creates direction, endurance sustains stability, expansion creates opportunity, influence shapes ecosystems, legacy creates continuity, but adaptability, well, that's what determines whether success continues when the world changes. And in the leadership environment of 2026, the organizations that thrive will not be those that simply preserve their past, but rather the organizations that continuously reinvent their future. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the CEO of Global Innovation Strategies, wrapping up week 22, a spotlight on what's next 2026, from institutional legacy to adaptive dominance, winning through continuous reinvention.